I'm really happy that my spirit connected with your spirit, Jamie Phillips. I didn't see the whole thing of the video that you presented about the Epsilon Gold. You know, yeah, and so I made a comment in there that I was going to do a video on something that you mentioned about Urtha, Inner Earth, right, and the Eka codes. And so I've mentioned this in other videos in the past. And so I use this as what we call a frame of reference on your own journey, okay? Because when I lit myself on fire on December 15th, 2016, I cried continuously for 4 days, right? That's a lot of tears. That's an ocean of tears. So I'm very much an emotionally driven being because of how sensitive. I can't, you know, I'll give you an idea, and I've shared this before, you know, what it means to be an empath, right? I experience what you experience, and if you're experiencing a loss of energy in you, I experience that in me because there isn't any separation between what I am and what you are. I'm giving love to. That's how simple it is. So if you're experiencing a loss of energy in you, I'm experiencing a loss of energy in me. So when I was a child, that's when I'm mapping the loss and gain of energy, which is a loss and gain of speed. In other words, when universes are running out of energy, how fast are they running out of energy as a result of what? A vampire. Bigger and bigger vampires. Formations of consciousness that are connected to each other that become bigger and bigger vampires because they're connected to each other in what? Alliances. Fallen spirits that are in alliance with each other using tech, magic tech, to hold energy captive because they can't let go. Right? That's called going in the other direction. Right? So instead of experiencing more of everything that we're giving love to as co-creators, on fire to create, right? They're going in the other direction, which is to go cold and implode. So if they can't self-correct, what happens? Bye. But they don't lose anything because they're not, you know, what have they lost ultimately? Time. That's it. When you think of evolution of consciousness. In other words, they didn't lose anything that the universe didn't already start with, which is what love is. And that's basic logic. So what I was going to share with him that prompted me to do this was when he talked about inner earth and echo, right? So I've mentioned it before. Like right now, it's like my head, my soul is inside of hollow, something hollow. Like I'm an echo, the echo worlds, the God worlds, the inner us, the inner you, the inner soul. So I'm experiencing like I'm inside of a pressure chamber, you know, like a big, huge factory level compressor, except this is planetary or galactic and universal. So I'm hearing the pressure changes that are taking place atmospherically inside inner Urtha, right? So I realized that, yeah, I know where I'm at, the inner Urtha. I'm hearing the echo, I'm hearing the echo, I'm hearing the ecospheres, the ecobecacos, right? So I hear that. So I don't know if there are other souls and spirits that have been working with Jamie and others that have been putting up how to recode your template, right? And start self-repairing your template, because when that happens, you're going to begin to, all the miasma is going to begin to clear, because now you're experiencing what I call the one, which is healing light, which is real living spiritual energy. So we're healing our crystal spirals, the crystal Sophia. Okay, the first spiral, the first spin, the first Bob voltage. In other words, the first signal. I keep it simple as an antenna. A cell is a receptor, like a TV reception. Like they used to have rabbit ears when I grew up. You know, the two rabbit ears on a TV set? Hey, we're not getting the channel in. And, you know, they used to say, tweak the rabbit ears. And then sometimes if there was a break, you could hold on to one side of the antenna. Hey, now we get the channel. Hey, hold on to that antenna so we can watch the movie. So your cell is a receptor, which is an antenna, which is receiving a signal. So you know that it started with the first signal, which means it started with the first field. Oh, the first morphoenergetic field structure of communication from the one, experiencing what love is. Now you're into breathing speed. Right? Now you're into gate speed. Right? And so when you're experiencing the entire full electromagnetic spectrum as your consciousness, then you're experiencing the entire electromagnetic spectrum as your consciousness. And that allows you to do what? Push more energy. Working with the sun. Planted with our feet to the inner core. The inner that we're experiencing. So I know that my oversoul is anchored to inner earth. Right? Yeah, and that's why I see the silver white, right? I see it there, and then I see gold. Well, there's gold. There's pink. Whoa. And there's green like an emerald. Big as day. Big as night. Right? And so these are the gifts. Right? So I don't know how many of you that are out there that have been practicing and working with the Ekaveka codes are experiencing, like, you're hearing all the frequencies. Like little chimes. The little frequencies that you weren't hearing before. Wow, I'm hearing a lot of stuff I never heard before. This is all Inner Eartha stuff. I'm hearing the pressure differences that I never heard before. That's like an antenna now is a lot more sensitive because you're sensing. Your ability to sense is now full capacity. That's what it means to light yourself on fire, right? So in other words, you go from being an empath to a super empath. It's just like when I walk out on the property out here, right? I'm very, very aware of everything that I'm around, okay, that is sensitive, like these little blades of grass, the wind currents were blowing. I don't want to disturb the peace of the grass. Whoops, I don't want to step on that flower. I don't want to step on that flower. Don't step on that flower. Don't disturb its peace. I think I'd be better if I was in a non-physical form at this level of mass. Stuff like that. Right? Because you're so sensitive. And this gets into the law of one teaching. The more sensitive that we are of everything that we're aware of what we're giving love to, means that the cells that we're experiencing in us that we're giving love to, because they're naturally experiencing what love is to us, the more sensitive we become about other living cells that we see in our mirror. And you begin to realize that since I was experiencing this as a child, I began to realize I'm losing more of what I'm giving love to. That means I'm losing more in my mirror of what I'm giving love to. But I got no responsibility or accountability for what they do by what they use their energy to experience. So if they're using their energy, which is their free choice to use their energy the way that they are, and now I'm losing more energy in me by virtue of what I'm experiencing in them, I realize they're going in the wrong direction, which means the use of their energy is not in the service of their cells, because now I'm experiencing what those cells are experiencing, which is called a death spiral, which is a death spell. Oh, a death spell, like in spelling words, like in codes, like in frequency codes, like in programming codes. So they've been programmed to self-suicide. That's what I knew as a child. I used to call it sadomasochistic programming. They're being programmed to implode. What? And they're using my energy to do that? You see how that works? That's counter space. That's counterintuitive. Why would I be using my energy to help fuel something to implode? That's called quit feeding the vampire. Because the energy that they're using, that they're getting from us, is what they're going to use against us. And that's called a virus that is spreading at a very high rate of speed. Thus, a quarantine. It's no different than the black goo that hits your fingers and cuts your arm off before it gets to your shoulder. Lock a quadrant down. It's spreading too fast. Remember I did a number of videos on how the rate of spread using a chart, water table chart, water matrix table chart. Hey, this thing is migrating from one matrix to the next. It's going to take down the whole enchilada. That's why we're at this point in time right now, otherwise known as the final dance. After billions and billions and billions of years of evolution of consciousness that, as we used to say, went south. And that's why I cried for 4 days, and I still cry every day. I haven't in a couple of days. It depends on what's going on. But when I do, it's because I'm experiencing a major loss on the planet or the galaxy or the universe. In other words, I was crying and I'm feeling that emotionally because of major loss that's being lost in others that I'm experiencing in me, because I'm getting the information, because I'm sensing at the cosmic level. Cosmic level sensing, which means I'm getting the information now, I'm experiencing it emotionally, and the emotional experience that I'm experiencing in me, because I feel so deeply, which is eternal love, I'm experiencing their loss in me as a result of what happened to them. That's a cosmic level sensor. That's a cosmic level antenna. That's a Christos Sophia avatar. That's what I am. Have a beautiful afternoon. We love you all.